In today's episode, a smoke screen will be deployed. A firefighter will be employed.
Fire extinguisher, anybody?
And a nice Sunday ride will be enjoyed. If someone would open up an online store for supercars, how would express shipping look like? Exactly the way we do it in GTA Online, by helicopter. The only risk here would be someone on a flying bike trying to ruin the party. Do you think that Los Santos Customs is unrealistic because they can paint your car in 1 minute? Then check out what Kuba Przygonski, a Polish professional drifter, and his team pulled off when presenting his new drift car. And no, there wasn't a super wide trailer that would fit two cars. What they did is basically a perfect cut between two separate takes. The best conversations in life are those that you have with complete strangers at a gas station at 2 a.m.
What's up, bro?
How are you?
Thank you.
How much horsepower I got?
You know what? Let me show you.
Alright.
So we got around 700 horses in here.
What a beautiful engine.
Did you know that the new Ferrari Pista is powered by two jet engines? No, Ahmed, where we are going, we don't need shifters. There have been quite a few crazy finishes to a NASCAR race, just like this one, where the third place was achieved while driving backwards.
Salvarola, crash into the wall. I think it's Stenhouse. It might be Blaney.
Pulling ahead of Blaney. And look at that 10 car
And
spinning as he
Almirola,
backs
third
over
at the line. How about that?
Here's a car that I personally almost never heard of, the Mitsubishi FTO, which stands for Fresh Touring Origination, whatever this means. It had a rather short production span of 6 years, front-wheel drive, and in the strongest version, a 2-liter V6 engine that sounds pretty good. Trying to stand out from the crowd is getting harder. Luckily, some manufacturers realize this and now offer new solutions.
Bro has to the Hellcat.
It takes immensely sized balls to drive towards a wall at 170 km an hour, let alone make the car slide at that speed. Don't you love when someone who is clearly wrong but doesn't admit to his mistake and thinks he is right? Well, here's a textbook example. We know that the Mazda Rx7 is a brilliant street car. What we don't know is that the first generation Rx7 was used in rallies. And I cannot agree more with the number plate. When driving Miatas or really any rear-wheel drive car on the limit, it is super easy to lose the rear of the car, especially when going over curbs. Here's a textbook example of this happening. Luckily, the driver knew to slam on the brakes and not let his car roll into the barrier. You are not good at pulling off a show until you pull up in a chopped up body of your car that is a trailer and you do a burnout in a twin-turbo diesel wagon.
You have 3 seconds to guess this car going through a tunnel. The Mercedes-Benz SLR on its own is an insane car, but there was a special edition dedicated to Stirling, a famous Formula 1 driver. It has a lot of stylistic elements from the original Mercedes SLR, like the side exhaust, severe lack of roof, and a lot more. Ever had problems understanding how gearboxes work? Here is a 3D printed model with a 4-speed manual gearbox. I personally have still no f***ing idea how this works.
Apparently, this is the fastest way to take corners in a front-wheel drive car. Obviously, not for long, as your tires will wear out quicker than your attention span when watching compilations on YouTube.
Somehow everything manages to be a bit different in South Korea. Even car transporters, while we are used to the platforms sliding down to pick up the car, they have trucks that basically do push-ups. I think that's pretty smart, as they take up less space and probably need less maintenance too. Engines, as we mostly know it, have an overhead camshaft poppet valve system. But there's an alternative, the Koenigsegg overhead spherical system. Here's an image to help you visualize this.
Engine start 13.
The longest event in the universe that a man can experience is his beloved toy catching on fire and waiting for someone to bring a fire extinguisher. It is also the most painful experience.
That's what you call a hot machine.
Yes, Harley drivers are annoying. Yes, they are not the fastest. And no, that doesn't mean that you can't do cool tricks with them. Gender reveal parties in the US often go wrong. However, Australians have something you could call a burnout competition. And yes, they are pretty good at burnouts. Wankel engines, also called rotary engines, are not the best in terms of reliability. Sure, they sound great, can rev high, but I would not trust it to be a good long-term solution for a fun car. This guy, however, does not care. He used a Mazda 13B rotary engine to power his plane.
Clear prop.
Do you still think that the Mercedes G63 6x6 is still the original car with 6 wheels? Well, it's not. This is the Saab 906 Turbo concept. And even though there is no footage of this thing driving around, it is definitely worth mentioning here. The Saab 906 is based on the original Saab 900, but it got extended by 60 centimeters and obviously another pair of wheels. Then the owner added stuff like 16 speakers, a fridge, heating cabinets, a police radio, radar detector, cruise control and more. Pretty good considering it was done in the 80s, but everything has an end and the car was found on a junkyard somewhere in Sweden. Big shame. Going fast on a highway doesn't really give you the sense of speed. What will, however, give you the sense of speed is going 130 miles per hour in a tunnel, which you should never do. Seriously, it's not worth it. A Miata can attack anywhere at any time, but it usually uses its camouflage to hide from its prey before the attack. Can you spot it before it spots you? The French driver Romain Grosjean, I don't know how to pronounce it, sorry, has retired from Formula 1 after his horrible crash at the end of the 2020 F1 season. Unfortunately, a few months after his accident, he crashed again, but this time in a safety car while going into the pits.
Okay, so today we're going to do a bit of a lap with the pace car.
I like that we caught in our cameras. Blue car there, Romain Grosjean behind the wheel. And I like this one. In turn 11, actually pit in, I should say, inside turn 11.
This is Miss Detroit. No, it's not a homeless crackhead. It is a over 100-year-old boat powered by a Curtis Smith V12 engine. It takes some serious skill and braveness to steer a 400 horsepower boat that was designed before the First World War even ended. As you may know, cars from the ex-communist bloc were never fast, but here's a car that could be considered the Porsche of the East. Rear-wheel drive, lightweight, and only a 4-cylinder engine. It took only 18 seconds to accelerate to 100 km an hour. Maybe this should have been called the Miata of the East. Thank you so much for watching, and if you want more, check out my second channel. Have a nice day.
That doesn't make sense.